The West is ready to launch a new wave of military supplies to Ukraine while Kiev's military is defeated on the front lines. The long-awaited counteroffensive failed, but NATO does not stop and is rearming Ukrainian servicemen with new game-changing weapons for more offensive operations in autumn. The U.S. Assistant Secretary of the Army for Acquisition, Logistics, and Technology, Douglas Rosh Bush, declared that over the weekend the first batch of Abrams tanks was finally approved for shipment to Ukraine. The tanks, together with all necessary equipment, should arrive by the beginning of autumn, although various sources report that more than a dozen Abrams tanks are already in Ukraine. Kiev will not receive the M1A2 modification, but rather the more obsolete M1A1s. 31 tanks are intended for Ukraine. This corresponds to one tank battalion. In the current situation, this is not enough to compensate the large losses of the Ukrainian military. European allies are also not far behind Washington. French President Macron has recently promised to send long-range Scalp missiles from the reserves of the French army. In its turn, Germany is preparing to transfer long-range Taurus cruise missiles. Earlier, Berlin officially denied such a possibility, but after the British Storm Shadow system was deployed with the Ukrainian military, sending the Taurus missiles was just a matter of time. According to Bundestag, only 150 of the 600 missiles are now in working condition, but the shortage does not stop Berlin, and in fact Ukrainian bombers have been getting refitted for the deployment of these German-Swedish-made missiles. The transfer of the Taurus will expand the Ukrainian arsenal of precision weapons and increase the range of destruction of targets up to 500 kilometers. However, the limited number of missiles and remaining bombers from the Ukrainian Air Force will not allow them to be used en masse, rather to only deliver single targeted strikes, at least until NATO sends its warplanes to Ukraine. In response, the Russian military continues preemptive strikes in Ukrainian rear areas. Warehouses in the Khmelnytsky and Rivne regions, where British Storm Shadow missiles were likely stored, were recently destroyed. While Kiev proudly declares that the supply of new advanced weapons will lead it to victory, just as the Javelins, Bayraktars, and Leopards did, NATO is trying its best to force the Ukrainians to continue the slaughter, protecting the interests of the Western blooming garden.